If the guy is married and they both have families and they're talking about kids, that's what they talk about. But if other men come up and they're not married, don't have children, the conversation will change. Football, all the kind of crap.
I have a gentleman at work. He's another nurse. He's a Christian. Okay. So he doesn't talk about the things that maybe me and Leon talk about. Okay. We talk about family things because I respect his Christianity. And he's involved, he's self-involved in his Christianity and he's in this facade thing. So we talk about what he thinks, children, some basic pleasant conversation. I'm with Leon, we talk about something totally different.
Right.
Okay, because he's particular person's not involved in that.
Okay.
I mean, just because you're a male does not mean you don't have any sensitivity to other people.
Right. Well, do you think females do that too? I wouldn't tell the lefty joke at church, but I would let it come to
Okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that you just have good common sense, or it means you're more feminine? Right. That has nothing to do with female male.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, but what I think is...
Ben talks differently when he's with you.
Of course he does.
Or his brothers over the phone. Because it's more street talk, like ain't, she don't know nothing, and it ain't the way. And...
Boy, that really hurts your mouth, don't it?
But yeah.
Excuse me.
But
the thing is that, of course he does. He's my brother, right. We grew up accepting that. What's the problem? There's no problem. It's not necessarily...
But he doesn't talk that way normally.
No, but it's not necessarily something that is either male or machoism, because I talk to him with Nita here. I tell Nita, what the fuck you want when she calls me. I tell Teddy, what the fuck you want when he calls me. There's no difference.
No, I'm not saying it's a male-female thing. I agree.
I think you're talking about a cultural thing. Because they were born and raised in Detroit, and it's not part of our culture per se, but it's what do you call it? When you pick something up.
We assimilate it.
Assimilate. It's an assimilated culture, so we don't use it maybe really among each other, joking, playing. Some of the things that we say and do,
but without joking, but just conversation. Because if he was going to talk to Tianelli, it would be, again, a completely different conversation.
Of course it would.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's understandable. Why would I talk to you? If I was talking to my mother, it's different when I'm talking to my brother. It's only respect. I'm not going to tell him, hey, how's the fucking going, Ma? That's why I was Italian.
You put off the F word.
That's right, but the basic thing is that you'll never understand males, so why even try? You just like I'll never understand why females do what they do. I don't even try. I just...
Yeah, because what?
What? Oh, you talking?
Yeah, all those paperback books are written and on the bestseller list. Women that love too much,
men that hate women who love too much.
I know.
Men who hate their mothers and marry their
women who love men that men hate the women and there's all that stuff.
Women who want to be their mother and have sex.
Women are very stable emotionally, men now. Women don't have large egos, men do. Constantly stroked.
But you know what women do have, and it's a terrible thing to say, but I noticed this. Women
are catty.
No, wait. Women.
No, I've heard men though.
Women. Let her speak, please. Women who are married, as opposed to women who are unmarried. Women who are married seem to be under a lot of tension all the time. And in the workplace, they can be difficult to work with. Because it's almost like they're a dog chained to a fence. Anybody comes near them, they're going to take a bite out of you. And I can't figure out whether it's because they're frustrated, they don't have any autonomy at home. I can't figure out what the deal is. But when I run across somebody like that, I tend to stay away from them. And I find that mostly it's married women, not unmarried women.
Well, the thing is every single woman I've met wanted to be married. I don't know what that is, especially if they're over 30.
Not me.
Well,
not me.
Well, you don't meet anyone over 30, number one. Number two, you're a lesbian. So that takes care of that broad story.
Before I was a lesbian, I want to be
Well, I work. You have to say that I work with 98% all women. That's what nursing is. That 98% of all women, 50% are married. The other 50% want to get married to something.
Yeah, why is that?
And don't care
why
who.
Why is it that women want to marry?
They don't care who they marry.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, why is that?
Why is that?
Tell me why that is.
I could see in the 50s.
Why is that? You got married in the, what, 80s? You know, I got married in the 70s and the 90s. Or the 80s.
I know that they're very aggressive. I have to laugh when I get to work and I watch how these women converge on these poor guys, housekeepers.
Exactly.
You know, and they don't give the poor guy a chance. I mean, he's like overwhelmed. These women are shameless. Exactly. I mean, because they pursue these men with a vengeance. It's like some kind of competition. I don't understand what's going on. I just stand and watch. I think it's really crazy.
In the hospitals, we see it as,
Oh, yeah.
as female, single females, the first thing to go after is the doctor. The very first thing to go after is the doctor. And they're very shameless. They're just outright bold about it. I mean, they say, well, when are you going to take me out to dinner? You know, it's like that. It's like...
Did you stand there and
I haven't seen any of that.
Well, maybe I think that you don't notice it, maybe, or maybe you're not aware of it, or maybe your particular group of people that you work with are not those particular individuals. But when you work with a large group of people, I'm talking about, I work with anywhere between, you know, 50, 60 employees at any one time, you know, including housekeeping and other doctors. You know, in a large ER situation like that, and do that. Yours is particularly smaller group of people. We have a high turnover rate where I work at, so there's always somebody coming in, somebody leaving situation. So I see more of that than maybe you do. Okay. But it does occur. And sometimes people, especially if they're married, are not aware that it is occurring. You may look at somebody from a perspective point of view. You may look at somebody who's doing something and saying, oh, she's being very friendly. I may look at a particular plan, she's being horrish.
Yeah.
You know, so it depends on where they're leaning to, what their body language is.
Oh, Christopher!
You're not self-aware or self-involved in it, then you don't know.
What you doing, man?
You know, if you've never done it, you don't know. If you've never seen it, you don't know. It's like anything. You learn.
I see it all the time.
Or if you're not a pessimistic individual, you don't know.
You won the last
You know, if you take people for being nice or for being, you know, if you take them for face value first instead of the human beings that they are, the individuals they are, then, you know, you're not as likely to say she's acting horrible.
Let me ask you a question now before we quit this conversation. So I really want to know. The other day I was talking to this guy, and he told me, he says, well, men are like this. He said, if I leave the house and we're together, we're married, I leave the house, he said, I don't feel like I should necessarily have to tell you where I'm going or when I'm going to be back. But if you leave the house, I want to know where you're going.
No, that's wrong.
And when you're going to
No,
be
I don't process
No, you know, hey, I'm a man.
If I'm leaving, I tell you, I'm going to be back.
And I call Vicky when I'm going to be late or something.
No.
Ben is very good with his communication.
And I expect her to do the same thing.
That's true.
But
Ben
not
says,
all
well, we're
men are
married and we
alike.
have to communicate and we have to run a house and our family.
I do the same thing.
She could call me and say, I'm sleeping with this guy tonight, as long as she calls me. Call me. I don't care if she was Demon Jones and you know, call me if I won't worry. If she come home with AIDS, that's another story. We'll talk about it when she gets it.
You see how Ben has a different style of talking? He doesn't gesture and posture.
But let me ask you a question. You taking it seriously?
No.
She isn't wrong.
No, but just his gesturing is such very massive, very open gesturing, posturing.
So why do you sit there and analyze all his gesturing? Was just
Go, because we just conversed about it.
it's just a facade.
Yeah, it is. No, well, we conversed about it.
You know, I don't sit there and say, gee, Teddy, your posturing, gesturing. What does that mean?
This one. Hey, guys, is that posture better good enough for you?